Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. We continue to wind down 2021 with more interviews, and we have a returning guest this time. We have Alexander Margulis, COO of Mansfield Bio Incubator. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
And this is your new space that you're putting together, correct?
Well, that's still actually the space we've been at since 2017, but despite the COVID still going on, the situation is still more hopeful than last year in the sense that we got vaccines, we got treatments. So the space is full, the current space is full, and I have to be there all the time to make sure that it's running smoothly.
Of course. So why don't you tell our listeners again about Mansfield Bio Incubator, what it's doing and what makes it special?
Oh, absolutely. So we are unique in the sense that we're located between two major cities in New England, Providence and Boston. And in this way, we draw the talent and the technologies coming from both locales. In addition to that, we are uniquely positioned within 1 hour from many major universities in New England and with some great local colleges nearby. And in fact, I know that there is some great entrepreneurial initiative in Wheaton College, which is a stone throw from us. They want to develop the entrepreneurship and get the students interested in making an impact in this world. So we are the only incubator, to our knowledge, that's being built during the COVID times. So the new space that we're gonna have will have great biosafety level 2 spaces, and they're built with the COVID in mind, meaning that there is enhanced ventilation, and there is also environmentally friendly in a sense that it's built in such a way that it produces a net zero energy.
So is that unique to your incubator?
That's part of it. Another part of it that we are an extremely flexible facility, and also that served us well in the past, that we could accommodate some unique technologies. We have very little in terms of fixed infrastructure, obviously with the exception of plumbing, whatnot, and HVAC. But other than that, all our casework is movable. And in terms of electrical circuits, we've done quite a few alterations to fit the individual tenants. And in this way, we are able to build the ecosystem right from the scratch.
Interesting. Do you think you attract a different type of a startup organization? So if someone's listening.
Well, so what I can tell you is this. I know that Cambridge is the most desirable place. It comes with a caveat, meaning that you really have to have some skin in the game to get in terms of the funding. And obviously in Cambridge, they've done a great job cultivating the startups. But as you can imagine, the space is limited, so they can't accept everybody. Furthermore, our parking situation is much easier than in Cambridge, and what that does, it kind of like attracts the technologies that may not be necessarily the mainstream. Perhaps we have a unique hodgepodge of technologies from cannabinoid delivery to oral formulations to animal health. But we don't forget about what you would call more conventional startups. We have a company with unique approach to treat cancers.
Interesting.
So in a sense, I would say yes and no. We do attract, our makeup is unique. Whether or not we attract a completely different startups from everybody else, that's an open question. There's no such thing when you work with the startups that there is a conventional technology. By definition, the startups goal is to disrupt the current market space.
Right. So
That
again, Alexander, could you give our listeners somewhat of your background to give them a sense of what you bring to this?
Sure. So my background is I have a PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology. So what that does, it helps me understand intimately what the companies are doing. While certainly my goal is to let them be, help them develop. By no means do I interfere with what they're doing. So in other words, on one hand, I understand what they're doing. On the other hand, I kind of like, sort of like adopt somewhat of a hands-off approach. But what it also does that I understand what they need, and when setting up the lab space, I certainly can relate to what they're doing and do a good job to make sure that they're happy.
So you have a new extension starting in February 22, with not far away now. Why the extension?
Well, obviously, to grow the ecosystem, we have to expand our footprint because our current space is oversubscribed. And we actually are able to gain great support from local politicians. And in fact, the town of Mansfield has this great initiative called Discover Mansfield, which I would be more than happy to send some links to you following the conversation. Another thing is that we've certainly are in contact with Mass Life Sciences, the key trade organization in Massachusetts responsible for life science development. And in fact, we were recognized by receiving the grant from them to actually finance this expansion. So, and it cannot could not have happened without the contribution of a private foundation that also financed our expansion. So in other words, our current expansion is half financed by Mass Life Sciences and half by private foundation.
We've been speaking with Alexander Margulis, COO of the Mansfield Bio Incubator that's in a current extension. Alexander, if someone wants to find you and the Mansfield Bio Incubator, how would they find you?
Well, they can check out our website at www.bioinc.org, or they can also follow us on our social media. We are actively promoting ourselves on LinkedIn as well as Twitter and Facebook.
Good. Well, thank you for being on Radio Entrepreneurs again, and all the luck for 2022. We look forward to hearing from you and how things turn out.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Remind everybody, this is Radio Entrepreneurs.